When we have double signs like this one, then we want to try to simplify this. Remember that positive and negative, or we could think about that as a positive times a negative makes a negative. Or if we have a minus and a positive touching, think about that as the opposite of a positive. The opposite of a positive is a negative. The top one, you could say the positive, so the same as a negative is negative. The second one is a negative says the opposite, and that's the opposite of a positive is negative. If we have two negatives, this is the opposite of a negative. The opposite of negative is positive. And two positives make a positive. So opposite signs that are touching make a negative. If we have the same signs, a double negative is positive, or two positives is positive. Oops. So to simplify this one, when we have a double sign in the middle, plus a minus, a positive and a negative together make a negative. So now we just have a sign with the 5 and a sign with the 4. So our rule is if those signs are the same, we add the digits. 5 plus 4. Even though this is a subtracting problem, if the signs are both negative or both positive, we add the numbers. 5 plus 4 is 9. And we always take the sign of the bigger one when we're adding or subtracting. You can think about it, if the signs are the same, then we're accumulating, we're building up. If they're both negative, this one means we are in the whole 5. And then if we take 4 away, we go in the whole 4 more. So if both of them are negative or in the whole, then they're building up. So the way things build up is they add. 5 plus 4 is 9, and it's in the whole. Now in this one, the 8 out front doesn't have a sign, so it's understood to be positive. We have a double sign, plus a minus makes a minus. And notice these two digits have different signs. The sign in front of the 12 is negative. The sign in front of the 8 is positive. So anytime those signs are opposite, if they're different signs, we subtract. Now when we subtract, if we're writing it out vertically, we always put the larger number on top. And then we just take away. 12 minus 8 is 4. And then take the sign of the larger. The bigger number is 12. Its sign is negative. And why do we subtract? With opposite signs, we're canceling out. We're to the good 8, but then we're to the bad 12. So those cancel each other out. They are canceling against each other. Like if someone gives you some money and then you have to pay for something, that's taking away from how much money you have. So the digits get subtracted, and depending on whether you're more to the good or more to the bad determines your sign. So if we have more negatives, our sign is negative. And this works whether we have integers or fractions or decimals or whatever. Here we have negative 7.7, a double sign, so plus a minus makes a minus. Notice both signs are negative. The sign in front of the 7.7, the sign in front of the 9.2 are both negative. Same signs we add. So do 7.7 plus 9.2. And let's remember how that works. When we're adding decimals, we line up the decimal and we bring our decimal point straight down and then add the columns. 7 plus 2 is 9. 7 plus 9 is 16. So 16.9. Take the sign of the larger one. This is the larger number. the sign that it goes with is negative. Now that reminds me that sometimes people have trouble with this. So let's do 13.6 and take away 5.23. So how do we take this away? A lot of people want to bring that 3 straight down since there's nothing above it. But can we do that? If there's nothing above it, there's an understood 0 there. Well, we can't take 3 away from 0. We have to regroup. So we borrow 1 from the 6, and that turns that 0 into a 10. 10 minus 3, 5 minus 2, bring down your decimal, and then 13 minus 5 is 8. So just wanted to remind us, what if there's not a digit above a number and we're subtracting? So here are some fractions. So we have -4/9, double signs, so plus and minus makes a minus. And notice both signs are negative. The sign in front of that is negative, and the sign in front of the 2/3 is negative. So we're actually going to add these. Now remember, when we are adding or subtracting, we have to have common denominators. So what is a number that 9 and 3 both go into? Or what is a multiple of both 9 and 3? Well, it would be 9. The first fraction already has a 9 on bottom, and we can make the second fraction have a 9 on bottom also. If we multiply the top and bottom by 3, 2 times 3 on top makes 6, 3 times 3 on bottom makes 9. Since those fractions have the same number on bottom, we keep that number, and then we combine the top. -4 minus 6, so keep the 9. Those signs are the same, so we add the digits, 4 and 6, added make 10, take the sign of the 6. And we can leave that as an improper fraction. We don't have to convert that to a mixed number. That is fine like that. Okay, this one has absolute value bars. So we have to do what's inside first. So we have double signs. Plus and minus makes a minus. And be careful, we don't just simply make everything positive on the inside. We perform the inside operation, and once we have one single number on the inside, then we take the absolute value of that. So plus and minus made a -8, and we need to combine those. The 3 is understood to be positive. The 8 is negative, so opposite signs tell us to subtract. 8 take away 3 is 5. If we take the sign of the bigger number, which is 8, that's negative. And then we can conclude by taking the absolute value of -5 and get +5. And give us a word problem. The low temperature in Eau Claire, Wisconsin was -16 degrees. So -16 degrees. During the day, it rose only 4 degrees. So if it's rising, if it's going up, we add, and this tells us how much we're adding. If it said it went down, we would subtract. This says we rise, so add 4 degrees. So we want to find out how much does it go up to. So notice we have different signs. So different signs we subtract. Take the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. So if it started at -16 and goes up 4 degrees, then the high would be -12. Do 1 or 2 more. Again, opposite signs. So if those signs, double signs, I said opposite, but double signs there, plus and minus makes the minus. And we do have opposite signs. 82 is positive, 53 is negative. So our numbers are going to cancel each other out. So we have to see how much we have left. So subtract. We can't take 3 away from 2. So we have to regroup. Make that a 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. 7 minus 5 is 2. Take the sign on the larger number. And you can write the positive there, or you can just leave it off. It's both understood to be positive.